hi. I didn't see you there. Welcome to another episode of TezziiTV, where you're watching me, TezziiTV, on your TV. You know, second video. Still have no idea what we're finna watch.
Serious? What is the creepiest confession, most disturbing that you have heard from an otherwise normal person? I used to help out at a nursing home. This old Russian lady would relate the same tale over and over. Her husband drank and hit her. It was sad for sure, but one day she leaned over and whispered he was butthole drunk. So I pushed him downstairs, dead.
As she should. What are we talking about here?
A friend had told me for years about the dark secret in his past that he can't tell anybody. Eventually he felt comfortable enough to confess, and he really was not exaggerating. When he was young he raped his younger sister. The family
We started off early. You finna leave. Do this. I already want to end the video. Why?
Knew about it and they all got counseling.
Oh, okay. Okay. We're gonna continue, but that bear is so close to being dead. Cause I take my frustrations out on that bear. Oh, younger sister, my brother in Christ, who raised you? If I was a sister, you know.
I had a friend confess that every time he stayed at my apartment, which was frequently, because we lived in different countries, sometimes he would stay for a month plus at a time. He watched me sleep. I woke with him staring at me. He was literally inches away from my face just staring and I freaked out. He broke down and confessed.
I do that with the homies all the time.
My husband was asleep next to me.
I don't do that now. Wait. Bro, nah, you bold, fam.
That was the most creepy for sure. It also ended our friendship. In HS we were hanging out with this kid who was a grade lower than us and he started talking about how he buried a cat up to its head and then ran it over with a lawnmower. I didn't believe that he actually did that. The cat would probably tear the crap out of you, but it was disturbing to think that this was the information he decided to share to impress us. I heard something similar when I was in middle school. I think, or I would hope, this is an urban legend, that my great uncle likes kids. It suddenly made a whole
I'm not laughing because that's not funny. That's it's really not funny. But it caught me off guard. That was the first thing that popped up. I'm not. You know, that reminds me of a funny story.
On my way home from counseling, an elderly lady talked to me about her experience as a nurse in a mental institution. Some of the things she said were horrifying and sad. I think she was glad to get it off her chest. This included patients with schizophrenia who were abandoned by families, people admitted into the wards because of their homosexuality, with some very upsetting consequences, and more. Most involved patients taking their own lives. I sat there and listened, though I'm not sure how much of it actually sunk in until I got home. That sounds like a sad job she has. You're a good person for listening to her. A colleague confessed that she had sex with her brother through.
That'll be all. Good night. My brother in Christ, my brother in Christ, who raised you? Your brother? Your brother? Your brother? Your brother? Like, bro, what, how does that even happen, my guy? How? What are we doing here? 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 Good night. All right. Okay. You go my way. This is what you were doing to your brother, your brother, your brother, your brother. Good night. All right. I'm good. I'm great. I'm fine. Brother. It's that white people.
Throughout her childhood and early adolescence, she also told me she despises her brother's wife because she is in love with her.
Your brother? Your brother? Your brother? Do we understand the implications of what was just being said?
There was this girl in my school who I think was a selective mute. She only talked to a few people, and I was one of them. Then she told me that I'd never be on her hit list. Somebody once told me, the last thing I want to do is hurt you, but it's still on the list. I started seeing a girl about a month ago. She recently told me she was raped when she was 5.
These stories are
Her
depressing.
parents were druggies and had her at a young age, so she stayed with her grandma. But my girl's grandma was a drunk, so she would have her son, my girl's uncle, take care of her. He was about 25 when this happened. As the story goes, he went to go score whatever drugs he was on at the time and left his 5-year-old niece unattended in the car for who knows how long.
Sad.
When he returned, he found her covered in blood. She had reconstructive surgery on her vagina from where the guy tore her open.
I can't do this. No. No. How is this on YouTube? Look at the cute doggo. So beautiful and free. This makes me happy. Happy. All right, we switched up the Reddit stories. It physically hurt me in the inside to listen to that. We're not doing it. Not doing it. I'm good though. I saw some puppies.
The teacher that was horrible to all her students didn't come in for months. Was an alcoholic who had a heart attack at the top of a set of stairs. Fell and broke both her legs. To be honest, 15-year-old me didn't know how to react one way or the other. That's one way to avoid 12 steps. That the choir director was fooling around with a female student. When she turned 18 they got married. Bonus. It was strongly assumed he was gay due to his impressive level of fabulous. Similar.
What? She's a victim. It wasn't the groom she wanted.
During the summers when I was growing up, my parents would often leave my brother and I'm male, with our aunt and uncle who lived out in the country. It was great as they had 4 sons of ages close to ours, so we had a lot of fun doing kids stuff. One summer when I was 8, the oldest cousin was maybe 16. We somehow got talking and he asked me if I wanted to sleep in his room that night.
I know where this is going. And if they say it, I'm ending the video.
He has the nicest room and bed, so I was all for it. Got into bed and he asked if he could touch my dong.
Good night. Where you running? Where you? Oh! I'm so sick of this. 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 Good night. Sweet dreams. I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of this. Let's continue.
And eventually I'm sucking.
I don't want to continue. I don't want to continue.
I think I knew this was wrong, so I said I didn't want to carry on. We stop and I go to sleep quite confused. I wake up and he hands me some money and tells me never to tell anyone about what happened. Next night he tries to do the same thing. But now all I care about is the money, so I do it. This carried on for
2 summers? Oh my god! My morale for human capacity for goodness is just really dropping substantially. I don't even have anything funny to say. This is depressing. My boy.
2 summers. Eventually I got old enough to realize it was quite wrong regardless of the money and stopped. I've not told anyone this. He's now married with 2 kids. I'm also married and we see them sometimes at family events. I don't have the balls to even try and talk to him about it. Heck, I'm not even sure what I'd say. I'm sure this will get buried, but just getting it off my chest makes me feel better. TLDR, I was a gay child age. God, the TLDR just wrapped it up so beautifully. I once helped out my female friend's family by taking care of their cat for a week.
So bad.
Every day for a week. I would go over there and snoop around their house. I found my friend's diary and proceeded to read the entire thing. I used this information to get her to like me, and she is currently my wife.
W-mans! If y'all not willing to go that far, you don't like them for real. Wait, let me just make sure that you know. Okay, friends, family. Okay, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Read that diary, boy. That's a textbook to her. That's easy money. You just take notes, my boys. Take notes.
This is literally the juiciest secret for some reason. Not totally bland, but
Thank
not
you.
overly obscene.
Not too crazy. Nice and light. We like that. Let's keep it like that. Nice and light. Family friendly. Don't ever tell her that. That's a divorce real quick. But family friendly.
Probably because this is something I could actually picture any person doing if given the chance. When I was 13, during the summer before I started high school, I was physically shamed by a guy who dragged me into an alley, backed me into a corner so I couldn't escape, and even if I'd tried
like an episode of
I
Lookism.
couldn't have because he was taller and stronger than I was, and pulled my pants down.
I just said family friendly. Please! My brother in Christ who raised you!
I tried to draw attention to where I was because I'd gone over to a guy's house with my friend because she liked him, and when we went he just happened to have a friend there to hang out with me while they went off and did whatever. Anyway, I tried to shout and make as much noise as I could, and the guy goes, "This would be easier if you were laying down," and tried to force me to the ground. Then my friend finally shows up and goes, "OMG, my name, what are you doing?" And the guy obviously doesn't go, "Oh, you know, I was trying to violate her, this was my idea." But instead goes, "She was trying to frick me, ha 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 ha," and just walks away. Then my friend doesn't believe me when I tell her he dragged me into the alley because she disappeared well before anyone could see him pulling on my arm with both.
How does your friend not believe you? This is her boyfriend. See, love makes... I can't even say this is love. Y'all 13! Y'all stupid. Both of y'all. No, not the victim. The friend and the boyfriend. Y'all both stupid. Stupid.
Both hands and me trying to resist it as much as I could. I never told anyone because I didn't want them to react the same way my friend.
Tell people. You could even if you got to tell 100 people for one to believe you, but not one person to believe you, you're gonna get help. Tell. Because that's not okay. That's not okay whatsoever. Man.
I think about it a lot, and every day I say maybe this will be the day I finally tell my parents what happened, and then I never do. That was almost 6 years ago. My friend and I no longer speak, but I'd stopped being friends with her maybe 5 or 6 months after that because she told a couple of our other friends that I tried to frick a guy I'd known for all of 5 minutes during the summer. I don't want to be with my girlfriend anymore, but she might have cancer and I feel like I need to stay in the relationship. I have...
I'm not laughing. It's not funny.
Scene 50/50. She's healthy and I split up with her
That's what
before
you
we
get.
found out. Yay for life working out. Wow man, that is rough. I faked the last 2 years of college
too.
education. My parents put so much pressure on me I couldn't handle it. I was suffering from severe depression and anxiety, so I faked it all. Lied to everyone. Made up fake transcripts. I just got my foot in the door in my desired field thanks to a friend as they hired me as a subordinate. This place only hires college grads but no one double checked my credentials since I was recommended. My hopes is that if I need to find another job I'll have been at this place long enough to get it by experience alone. I work for a very prestigious company. I'm not bad at my job. I'm actually quite good. But my fear is eventually I'll hit a wall and the lie will come to light. No
It's
one
not.
has.
Because they really couldn't care less about your goddamn education. Well, I tell you, some fields genuinely require college education. So if you can get it, good, great. But for half of the jobs out there, the degree is just for whatever. It's just to say, hey, I have experience in this. But if you can show experience in other ways, you don't need a college education.
I've known this for
Also,
the better part
parents,
of
stop putting so much pressure on your kids. No, it's just not going to work. I'm not even going to get into it, but just don't do it.
a decade. It's a relief to finally say it out loud. I can't
See, I
even
like
tell
this. This
those
is
I
light.
love. My silence
This
is
is
my
light.
prison. If you get caught and go to a community college, you'll find a hilarious study group. When I was 17 I had an argument with my father and told him to frick off. Later that evening he hung himself. Our argument was the last.
Yeah. I mean, he what? That's so tragic. Oh my God. Dang. You wouldn't have lasted at our lunch table.
Everyone thinks I have a good job and roommates, but I've been homeless and a prostitute for over a year. There have been a lot of rumors about prostitutes who ultimately work their way out of the business. I hope things get better for you too. When I was 15 my parents were going through a divorce. My mom worked night shifts and my dad was living with a friend of his. One night my sister who was 19 at the time came home pretty.
If they say that she boned him, I'm ending the video.
He drunk from a party. She was acting goofy and fell on the couch next to me. She started grabbing my leg and laughing and we started fondling. We ended up fricking right there. When we woke up the next day,
that is the end of the video. I'd like to appreciate y'all for coming. Good night. What are you doing, step bro? What are you doing, step bro? What are you doing, step bro? Sweet dreams.
life ruining but makes me feel like crap every time I think about it. As I've told Reddit before, I have a blind brother. When we were young, I used to get so frustrated at all the extra attention he received and how I had to be more responsible with my sibling than my peers. So, when my brother and I would go play, go to the store, or just generally go anywhere without adults, I would abandon him somewhere unfamiliar to him. Then, I would stand off quietly and watch the anxiety set in as he tried to figure out where he was and what was going on. Also, I was really intelligent as a child and knew that was my ticket to attention. When I would help my brother with his homework, I would teach him all the wrong answers, so that I could continue being the smarter sibling. Today, my brother is my best friend. He goes to college and lives by himself. He's become one of the most intelligent men I've ever met. I'm trying to make it up to him now by being the best big sister ever, but I still feel so guilty.
This is older brother activities. What are you doing? What are you doing? What the slice of life anime?
How I found him to be a burden when I was a kid. I immediately called my brother after posting this and caught him while he was walking to a study group. I told him about my guilt and he laughed. He understands how frustrating it must have been. He told me that all of the good things I have done as a sister completely overshadow anything bad I did and that he loves me more than anything. I'm glad I spoke with him and I encourage others on here to talk to someone if they can. Your edit was the most beautiful thing I've read all day.
I really want to end it right here, since we're leaving off on a good note. But I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna do one more. Please don't let this mess me up.
Pressing thread. I'm so glad for your redemption with your brother. I accidentally killed 7 people.